Good evening, dear listener, and welcome to a story woven from the very fabric of dreams. Settle in and allow yourself to drift into a peaceful place where time slows and the world around you fades into quiet tranquility. Tonight, I invite you on a journey to a place where the veil between the waking world and the realm of dreams is thin, where the trees speak softly in whispers, and where ancient stories flow through the very air. In a small village nestled at the edge of a mysterious and ancient forest, there lived a young girl named Lila. This village, like many others, had its own rhythm. Quiet days spent tending to gardens and animals, and nights filled with the sounds of crickets and the whisper of wind through the trees. But it was as the sun dipped below the horizon that something magical unfolded. When night fell, the world took on a different air, and the dreaming forest, this very forest that lay just beyond the village, came alive. The villagers had always spoken of the dreaming forest in hushed tones, passing stories from one generation to the next. They told of a place where the stars above seemed brighter, the air more fragrant, and the whispers of the trees carried the dreams of those who dared to listen. It was said that those who ventured deep into the heart of the forest could hear the stories of the past, feel the touch of forgotten memories, and even glimpse into the future. But the forest was also a place of mystery and caution. The elders spoke of it as a sacred space, one that was not meant for the unprepared or faint of heart. It was said that only those who had an innate connection to the world of dreams could truly understand its magic, and those who were unready might lose their way, drifting forever between waking and sleeping, never fully belonging to either world. Lila, however, had always felt something deep within her that drew her to the forest. As a child, she would sit by her window at night, gazing at the dark outline of the trees against the starry sky. There was something about the forest that called to her, a pull that was gentle yet impossible to ignore. It wasn't just the mystery of it, but the way it seemed to understand her, as though it held a secret she had yet to uncover. As she grew older, Lila's desire to understand the forest deepened. The stories of the villagers intrigued her, but they also felt incomplete, like fragments of a larger puzzle. She believed that the answers were hidden somewhere within the dreaming forest, waiting for her to discover them. One evening, when the silver light of the moon hung like a gentle lantern in the sky, Lila decided to venture into the forest for the very first time. Little did she know that this moment would mark the beginning of a journey that would not only reveal the mysteries of the forest, but would also awaken something deep inside her, something that connected her to the world of dreams in a way she had never imagined. This is the story of Lila's journey into the heart of the dreaming forest. It is a journey of discovery, where the whispers of the trees lead her to uncover hidden truths and forgotten dreams. As you listen, let the soft cadence of the tale guide you into a peaceful slumber, where you too might feel the whispers of the dreaming forest brushing against your own heart. The forest beyond the stars. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled on the edge of a vast and ancient forest, there lived a young girl named Lila. She was a curious child, with wide eyes that sparkled with wonder, and a heart full of questions. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lila would sit on a hill outside her village, gazing at the thick line of trees that marked the boundary between the known world and the mysterious one that lay beyond. The villagers often spoke of the forest in hushed tones, calling it the dreaming forest, for it was said to be a place where the line between dreams and reality blurred. The villagers believed that deep within the forest, the trees whispered ancient secrets, and that the creatures who lived there could enter the world of dreams. They said that those who ventured too far into the forest would often return with strange stories of talking trees, glowing fireflies, and distant stars that seemed to sing lullabies. The elders warned the children not to wander too far, for the dreaming forest was not a place for the unprepared. But Lila, with her insatiable curiosity, could not ignore the pull of the forest. Every night, she would climb to the hill and look out at the forest, wondering what lay within. And on one such evening, as the stars began to twinkle in the sky like distant lanterns, Lila decided she would see the dreaming forest for herself. With a deep breath, she stood up from the hill and began her walk toward the forest's edge. The village behind her faded into the distance, and soon, all that remained was the thick, towering wall of trees. As she stepped into the forest, the air grew cool and thick with a scent of moss and earth. The sounds of the village vanished, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl. The deeper she ventured, the more she felt the magic of the forest. It was as though the trees themselves were alive, watching her with silent eyes. The moonlight filtered through the canopy, casting silver beams that danced like shadows on the forest floor. Lila felt as though she had stepped into another world, a world where time moved differently, where dreams and reality intertwined. After walking for what felt like hours, Lila came upon a small clearing. In the center of the clearing was a large tree, unlike any she had ever seen. Its trunk was thick and gnarled, with branches that twisted and reached out like the hands of an ancient being. Its leaves shimmered in the moonlight, casting a soft, ethereal glow that filled the clearing with a serene light. Lila approached the tree, feeling a strange sense of familiarity, as though she had been here before in a dream. As she touched the tree's bark, a soft voice whispered in her ear, "You have come, Lila." Lila stepped back in surprise, her heart racing. Who are you?" she whispered, looking around. "I am the spirit of this forest," the voice replied. "I have watched over these woods for as long as the stars have shone in the sky, and now you have come to me." Lila's breath caught in her throat. Why am I here?" "Because you are destined to be a dreamer," the voice said. "You will be the one who hears the whispers of the trees, the songs of the stars, and the stories of the wind. You will learn to listen to the dreams of the forest and share them with the world." Lila's eyes widened. I don't understand." "You will," the voice said gently. "In time, you will." Before Lila could ask more questions, the tree's branches began to sway, and the air around her shimmered with a soft, golden light. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, the forest had transformed. The trees were no longer just trees. They were ancient beings, their trunks wide and their branches stretching far into the sky. The ground beneath her feet was covered in a carpet of soft moss, and glowing fireflies floated lazily around her, lighting her path. In the distance, she could hear the faint sound of music, like a lullaby sung by the stars themselves. Lila felt an overwhelming sense of peace, as though she were floating in a dream. The dreaming forest was alive with magic, and she was part of it. "Follow the music," the voice whispered. "It will guide you." Lila nodded and began walking toward the source of the music. As she walked, the trees seemed to lean in closer, their branches swaying to the rhythm of the lullaby. The fireflies danced around her, their light flickering like the stars in the sky. It felt as though the forest was singing to her, telling her secrets that only the dreaming forest knew. After a short walk, Lila arrived at a small pond. The water was still and clear, reflecting the moon and stars above. At the edge of the pond stood a figure, a woman with long, flowing hair made of silver light. She was singing the lullaby, her voice soft and soothing, like the wind through the trees. The woman turned to Lila and smiled. "Welcome, child of dreams," she said in a voice as gentle as the breeze. "I am the Dream Keeper, and I have been waiting for you." Lila looked at the Dream Keeper in awe. "What is this place? What am I supposed to do?" The Dream Keeper gestured to the pond. "This is the heart of the dreaming forest. It is where the dreams of all living things come to rest before they are carried into the world. And you, Lila, are the one who will listen to them. You will hear the dreams of the trees, the animals, the stars, and even the wind. You will learn to understand their stories and carry them with you." Lila felt a sense of purpose settle over her, as though the weight of the world had shifted into place. She nodded, understanding the gravity of her task. "How will I know what to do?" she asked. The Dream Keeper smiled. "You will know. The forest will guide you. Listen to the whispers of the trees, the songs of the stars, and the stories carried on the wind. In time, you will learn the language of dreams." Lila closed her eyes, feeling the magic of the forest envelop her. The music of the stars, the whispers of the trees, and the stories of the world began to fill her mind. She could hear the trees telling tales of ancient times, the animals sharing their dreams, and the stars singing of far-off places. The world was alive with stories, and Lila was the one who would carry them. When she opened her eyes again, the Dream Keeper was gone, and the forest had returned to its quiet, peaceful state. The trees stood tall and silent, the fireflies danced in the air, and the pond reflected the moon and stars above. Lila stood alone in the clearing, but she no longer felt alone. She had found her place in the world of dreams. The forest had whispered its secrets to her, and now it was time for her to share them with the world. The Whispering Trees. The days that followed Lila's encounter with the Dream Keeper were filled with wonder and discovery. Every night, she would venture into the dreaming forest, listening to the whispers of the trees and the songs of the stars. The forest had become her sanctuary, a place where time seemed to stand still, and the boundaries between dreams and reality faded away. The trees, ancient and wise, shared their stories with her. They spoke of the world long before humans had walked upon the earth, of the winds that carried secrets from far-off lands, and of the stars that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Each tree had its own tale to tell, and Lila listened with rapt attention, eager to learn as much as she could. One evening, as Lila wandered deeper into the forest, she came upon a tree that stood apart from the others. Its trunk was twisted and knotted, its branches reaching out like the arms of an old friend. The tree's bark shimmered in the moonlight, and its leaves glowed with a soft, golden light. "Hello," Lila whispered, feeling a deep sense of connection to the tree. The tree creaked softly, and to Lila's surprise, a voice echoed in her mind. "Oh, Lila," the tree said, "I have been waiting for you." Lila gasped in surprise. "You can speak." The tree's branches swayed gently in the breeze, and its voice seemed to come from deep within its roots. "Of course I can speak. All the trees of the dreaming forest can. We have seen much over the centuries, and we carry the stories of the earth within us. Lila sat down at the base of the tree, her heart racing with excitement. What stories do you have to share with me? The tree's branches rustled softly, as if it were considering her question. I have many stories, Lila, it said, but there is one that stands out. It is the story of the first dream, the dream that started it all. Lila leaned forward, eager to hear more. Please, tell me. The tree's voice grew softer, almost as if it was speaking to the wind. Long ago, before the world was born, there was only darkness. No stars, no trees, no creatures, only an endless, empty void. But in the heart of the void, a single thought was born. This thought was their first dream, a dream of creation, a dream of light and life. The tree's voice grew more wistful. The dream spread across the void, and where it touched, the stars were born. The stars sang their songs of light and warmth, and the first tree grew from the dream, its roots deep in the earth and its branches reaching for the stars. Lila's eyes widened in awe. The first tree, was it you? The tree's branches swayed gently. No, not me, but I am a descendant of that first tree, and through the centuries, we have carried the dream of creation in our roots, the dream that brought life to the world. Lila sat in silence, her mind awash with the beauty of the story. She had always known that the dreaming forest was special, but now she understood that it was more than just a place of magic. It was the birthplace of the dreams that shaped the world. As the tree's story ended, Lila felt a deep sense of gratitude and wonder. The forest had given her a glimpse into the heart of creation itself, and she knew that she would carry this knowledge with her always. The Dream Keeper's gift. One evening, as Lila wandered through the dreaming forest, she felt the familiar pull of the Dream Keeper's presence. She followed the winding path that led her to the small pond where the Dream Keeper stood, her silver hair glowing in the moonlight. Lila, the Dream Keeper said, her voice as soft as a lullaby, I have been waiting for you. Lila approached the Dream Keeper, her heart full of questions. I've learned so much from the trees, she said, but I still don't fully understand my place in all of this. What is my role in the world of dreams? The Dream Keeper smiled gently, as if she had been waiting for Lila's question. Your role, Lila, is to listen. The world is full of stories, stories of joy and sorrow, of triumph and loss, of light and darkness. These stories are carried on the wind, whispered through the leaves, and sung by the stars. You, child of dreams, are the one who will hear them all. Lila's brow furrowed. But how can I hear all the stories? There are so many. The Dream Keeper's eyes sparkled with wisdom. You will hear them when you are ready, when you learn to listen with your heart, rather than just your ears. The forest will guide you, and the stories will come to you in their own time. Lila nodded, though she still had many questions. What else must I do? The Dream Keeper reached out and placed a hand on Lila's shoulder. The time will come when you must share the stories you hear. You will carry them with you into the world, where they will be passed on to others, and in doing so, you will help the world remember its dreams. Lila's heart swelled with a sense of purpose. She had found her calling, her place in the world of dreams. and she knew that as long as she listened, the stories would always be there, whispers of the dreaming forest, carried on the wind, waiting to be shared. The Song of the Moonlit Grove. The next few nights were filled with a deep sense of wonder and connection. Lila wandered through the dreaming forest every evening, her heart attuned to the whispers of the trees, the melodies of the wind, and the stories carried by the stars. She no longer felt like a stranger in this world of dreams. She was part of it now, intertwined with the ancient magic that pulsed through every leaf and every stone. One evening, as she walked through the forest, she came across a path she had never noticed before. The trees here were different, their trunks tall and slender, their leaves silver and shimmering like starlight. The air was thick with a soft, glowing mist that hung in the cool night air, and the ground was covered in a carpet of pale, luminescent flowers that seemed to glow with an inner light. The path wound its way through the grove, leading her toward a place she had never seen before. Lila stepped lightly onto the path, her breath catching at the beauty of the place. It was as if the forest had transformed into a dream within a dream, a place where the laws of nature bent and shifted. The trees were not just trees, they were like beings in their own right, their trunks twisting upward into the sky, their branches reaching out like fingers, beckoning her closer. As Lila continued down the path, the sounds of the forest grew softer, as if the very air was holding its breath. And then, just as she thought she might lose herself in the silence, she heard it, a soft, melodic sound, like a lullaby sung by the moon itself. The music was faint at first, barely a whisper carried on the wind, but it grew louder as she approached the heart of the grove. At the center of the grove stood a pool of water, its surface still and reflective, like a perfect mirror. Above the pool, the sky was clear and full of stars, and the moon hung low, its light casting a silvery glow over the entire grove. The song was coming from the pool, from the water itself. It was a song so beautiful that it made Lila's heart ache with longing, a melody that seemed to speak directly to her soul. Lila knelt by the edge of the pool, her fingers brushing the cool surface of the water. As she did, the moonlight seemed to shimmer in the depths, and the song grew stronger, clearer. The water began to swirl, rippling gently in time with the music, as if the pool were alive, echoing the ancient melody of the dreaming forest. And then, as if in response to her presence, the water parted, and a figure emerged from its depths. It was a woman, ethereal and luminous, her hair flowing like liquid silver. Her skin shimmered with a faint, otherworldly glow, and her eyes were as deep as the night sky, full of wisdom and mystery. She was clothed in robes made of starlight, and as she stepped onto the shore of the pool, the water seemed to rise with her, flowing like a gentle stream around her feet. Lila stood in awe, unsure whether she was seeing a vision or if this figure was real. The woman smiled at her, her gaze kind and knowing. "Welcome, Lila," she said, her voice soft and melodic, like the song of the forest itself. "I am Celine, the keeper of the moonlit groves." Lila's voice trembled as she spoke. "What is this place? What is this song?" Celine's eyes sparkled with a warmth that filled Lila's heart. "This is the song of the moonlit grove," she said, "a song that has been sung for as long as the stars have watched over the world. It is the song of dreams, of all the dreams that have ever been dreamed and all those yet to be dreamed. It is a song that connects the world of the waking and the world of the sleeping, a bridge between the two." Lila felt a sense of peace wash over her as she listened to the song. It was as if the very fabric of the universe was woven into its melody, every note carrying with it a story, a feeling, a memory. The song was not just a lullaby, it was a living thing, pulsating with life and magic, echoing through every part of the dreaming forest. "But why am I here?" Lila asked, her voice soft with wonder. "What is my place in this song?" Celine gazed at her with a look of quiet understanding. "You are a dreamer, Lila. You are the one who listens to the whispers of the forest, who hears the songs of the stars, who carries the stories of the world within you. You are here to learn, to understand, and to share the dreams of all things, past, present, and future, and in doing so, you will help the world remember the beauty of its own dreams." Lila's heart fluttered at these words. She felt a deep sense of belonging, as though she were part of something greater than herself. "But how can I carry these dreams with me? How can I share them?" Celine smiled, her gaze gentle. "You already do, Lila. Every time you listen, every time you allow yourself to hear the stories of the trees, the songs of the stars, and the dreams of the world, you are sharing them. You are a conduit for the dreams of the forest, and your role is to pass those dreams on, to keep them alive in the hearts of others. The world needs dreamers like you, those who can remember the forgotten stories, the lost songs, and the quiet whispers of the earth." Lila nodded slowly, feeling the weight and the beauty of her task settle in her heart. She knew that this was the path she was meant to follow, the calling she had always sensed deep within her. Celine stepped closer to her, her presence warm and comforting. "Remember, Lila," she said, her voice like a soft caress. "The dreams of the world are not just for the dreamers, they are for everyone. They are the stories that shape our lives, the songs that guide our hearts, and the whispers that lead us home. You will carry them with you always, and in doing so, you will help others remember the magic of their own dreams." Lila looked at the moon above, her heart full of gratitude and wonder. She could feel the music of the grove in her soul, and she knew that, as long as she listened, the dreams of the world would always be there, waiting for her to hear them. With a final smile, Celine turned back toward the pool, her form beginning to fade into the silver mist. "Go now, Lila," she said softly. "The world of dreams awaits you." Lila stood for a long time, watching the moonlit grove fade into the quiet of the night. The song of the forest still echoed in her heart, and she knew that she would carry it with her always, through every whisper of the trees, every melody of the stars, and every dream that would come to her in the days to come. As she made her way back through the dreaming forest, Lila felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. She was no longer just a dreamer. She was a keeper of dreams, a listener to the whispers of the world. And in that moment, she understood that the dreaming forest was not just a place. It was a part of her, as much a part of her as the dreams she carried in her heart.